Thanks, Hilaria. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first ever Grab Conversation Symposium. My name is Reuben and I head Grab Financial Group, the Fintech arm for Grab, Southeast Asia's leading app. First, big thank you to all our panelists for joining today's Grab Conversation Symposium. They are Leslie Goh, the Senior Tech Advisor for the World Bank Group. We've got Tilman Erbach, the Managing Partner at Flourish Ventures. Jagan Fu, Chief Operating Officer and Chief Commercial Officer for Payments at OVO, and Alison, Vice President, Center for Inclusive Growth at MasterCard. And thank you all for joining us here today. I know all our panelists are extremely busy people, and yet they have decided to carve out time to spend with us today because they're equally passionate about our symposium's theme of enabling mass flourishing through fintech. But how did this theme come about? As we reflect back on what happened in 2020, it became very clear to us that we must keep driving and shaping the discussion on technology and its promise for good. The word flourish is an accurate way to describe how we think about fintech and its potential. It's not just about survival, but also how it can be used to build a thriving future for the underserved and done at scale. Hence, the symposium's theme today. And my hope is that this symposium provides us the opportunity to come together as a community to discuss the gaps in our financial ecosystem and to also talk about how could we potentially collaborate so that together we can drive fintech as a force for good in our communities, allowing individuals like El Katsar and Fajar, these two driver partners that you see on the slide, to access a better quality of life. But before we dig into the conversations, I guess we have to answer the question, why is Grab even in financial services? Now we know that Grab's mission is to use technology as a force for good to empower Southeast Asians towards better social and economic mobility. And we measure our progress in 3 buckets. The first is to improve digital inclusion and literacy. The second, to empower micro entrepreneurs and small businesses. And third, to build future-ready workforces. Grab Financial Group's journey in fintech was motivated by the pressing need that we observe in Southeast Asia. Now, many of the folks in this room will be very familiar with statistics. Like 70% of Southeast Asians are actually underserved by banks. They don't have access to credit cards. They are underinsured. They don't save up or invest enough money for their retirement. And SMBs still struggle to get access to credit for their businesses. Now, these are numbers, but for us at Grab, we have experienced that viscerally. When we opened more than 1 million bank accounts for our driver partners and micro entrepreneurs across Southeast Asia to collect their earnings, what we saw was that with those bank accounts, many of these folks were then able to access many different financial services, but actually many were still unable to do so. And we saw that much more could be done. For the folks like Jessica here that you see on the slide, she runs a spice stall at a wet market in Malaysia. She wants not only to get her business online through digital payments and a listing site, but she wants to be able to get access to more customers. She wants to get access to credit so that she can expand her business. And she wants to get access to insurance to protect herself and her family. So at Grab Financial Group, we see this product through 2 lenses. One, the consumers, and the other, the merchant. And our philosophy is to make financial services so convenient by embedding it into the everyday transaction life of our consumers and as well as our merchants. We want to make it accessible through microtransactions, and we want to make it transparent through very, very clear pricing. Whether it's in terms of insurance to protect what they have, or to get access to financing to manage and grow their businesses, or wealth management to prepare for retirement. And with the most recent announcement by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the MAS, we're now also tremendously honored to have the opportunity to build Singapore's next generation digital bank to serve more customers across multiple touch points in their everyday life across the entire life cycle. Now back to why we're here Again, COVID has been a huge accelerator of digital financial services, but it's also been a bright torchlight, shining and exposing those who have been excluded in this new digital world. Those who were not able to get access to everyday essential services online because they didn't have digital payments. Folks who couldn't pay their bills in time or had trouble transferring money to others because they just couldn't get their heads around how to use the digibank apps. Or even simple things like getting access to Zoom to view and to consume all the amount of huge amount of data and content that has been proliferating during this time. Now, the question I ask myself is, why are we still having such humongous needs? Clearly, the future is here, but it's just unevenly distributed. The technology is here, the ability to access it in a very easy way through platforms is here, and the funding is here, whether it's through VC or government-backed funding. And the solution, as many of us probably know, is we need to come together and put together all these solutions as one ecosystem and one community. And I do want to call out one example that really drives this home in the season of how important partnerships is in terms of solving this problem, both private partnerships and as well as private and public partnerships. Now, this is a picture of Cameron Highlands, a small rural district in Malaysia, about 600 kilometers away from Singapore. It's known for its cool climate and tea plantations. And when people think of last mile distribution, they think, how do we get goods and services to far-flung places like these? But in our digitally connected world, we believe that last mile distribution not only concerns the distribution and logistics of goods and services, but it's also the exchange of financial services and money. And we need to work together to close this last mile in financial services to help us build an inclusive digital economy that leaves no one behind. A great example that we saw this year of public-private partnership is how the Malaysian government dispersed 2 stimulus programs of nearly $300 million to 15 million Malaysian citizens. They had 2 objectives in this program. The first was to enable aid to get into the hands of micro merchants to help them during this very challenging period. And then the second, to equip consumers with the knowledge and the literacy of digital payments so that they can get online to get access to daily essentials. But instead of giving out cash, the government chose to partner 3 e-wallets, one including GrabPay. What resulted was a very efficient way of dispersing this aid into the hands of the citizens with no leakages. And as a result, these citizens that we observe on our platform, they end up spending 40% more than they did before the program. And for the merchants, 70% of this stimulus actually went into the hands of local merchants, mainly for them to enable customers to buy food, online groceries, and as well as daily essentials. Programs like these accelerate education and literacy, and the partnership with Fintech helps to enhance the effectiveness and the efficacy of these events, of these programs. Together with partners, we can have a shot at making sure no one is left behind, not only in Cameron Highlands, but all across Southeast Asia. To conclude, what we want to do as a community and ecosystem is to enable Southeast Asians to access simple financial services to build their wealth, to manage their finances better, and to protect what they value. Technology can enable powerful shifts in this region, and we can leverage it to build out Southeast Asia. But bringing access to hundreds of millions of people in this region is not the job of one company, nor is it the job of one nation. It is the job of an entire community. And if we do this right, we will be able to enable mass flourishing through Fintech and seizing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to accelerate better economic outcomes for millions and millions of Southeast Asians. Thank you very much.